Hello, nice to have you join us on the news at 5 on Channels Television. These are the stories and reports we're tracking at the moment. I'm Dominic Iwiwu. Troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hiding Kai have repelled an ISWAP attack and launched a devastating follow-on encounter offensive. A statement signed by the Media Information Officer of Operation Hiding Kai, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, says this decisive action has significantly degraded terrorist capabilities, disrupted their logistics, and reaffirmed their unwavering commitment to dismantling terrorist networks across the Northeast region. The statement explains that on February the 5th, 2026, ISWAP terrorists conducted a failed attack on forward operating base Auno. However, troops of Sector 1 stopped the assault. Capitalizing on this success, on February 9th, troops in synergy with the Civilian Joint Task Force launched a bold counter-offensive in Kudunga local government area as they engaged and neutralized 16 terrorists. The Senate Minority Leader, Senator Abba Moro, has sounded a fresh alarm over the growing wave of insecurity in Benue State, urging Governor Hyacinthe Alia to act swiftly and decisively. Speaking during an interview in his Abuja office, the Benue South lawmaker said the time for rhetoric is over, insisting that residents can no longer live in fear. His call comes on the heels of the abduction of 9 Catholic worshippers in Utunkon community and the kidnapping of 14 travelers along the Utunkon-Okpogo Road, an attack that reportedly claimed 1 life. Both incidents occurred within Benue South Senatorial District, the area he represents. Senator Moro stressed that as the Chief Security Officer of the state, Governor Alia bears the constitutional responsibility to protect lives and property. He also challenged a local government chairman to step up and make security a top priority in their respective domains.
There is an imperative need, therefore, for Governor Alia, the Chief Security Officer of Benue State, to rise up to his constitutional responsibility by mobilizing all resources to save the people and guarantee peace and security in Benue South Senatorial District, and indeed Benue State. A situation of mute silence by the government and governor of Benue State to condemn the frequent killing of our people is unacceptable. The 1999 Constitution, as amended, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria imposes the responsibility for protecting lives and property of the citizens on the governor. Governor Alia can therefore not continue to keep silent in the wake of the killings of our people as if their lives and well-being don't matter. I call on Governor Alia therefore to act now before our people are completely annihilated. I call on the governor to call on the local government chairmen as chief security officers in their various local government areas to live up to their expectations given the improved financial allocations that have been made to them in recent times. Finally, I call on Governor Alia to, as a matter of urgency, provide relief palliatives to the affected communities and stop acting as if Benue South is not part of Benue State.
5 US lawmakers have tabled a controversial bill in Congress seeking sanctions against Miyetti Allah Kauta Hor, the Miyetti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, and former Kano State Governor Rabiu Kwankwaso over alleged religious freedom violations. The proposed legislation, titled the Nigeria Religious Freedom and Accountability Act of 2026, was introduced by Representatives Chris Smith, Riley Moore, Brian Mast, Mario Diaz-Balart, and Bill Huizenga. The bill accuses Kwankwaso of contributing to what it describes as persistent systemic persecution of Christians in Nigeria. If passed into law, the measure would compel the U.S. Departments of State and Treasury to impose targeted sanctions, including visa bans and asset freezes under the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act. It also directs the agencies to justify to Congress if such sanctions are not enforced. In a sweeping provision, the bill mandates the U.S. Secretary of State to determine whether certain ethnic militias operating in Nigeria should be designated as foreign terrorist organizations. As of press time, neither Kwankwaso nor the named groups had responded to the allegations. Chairman of the Senate Committee on Defense, Senator Ahmad Lawan, has issued a stern warning. Nigeria's defense budget must be implemented fully and without delay, or national security could suffer the consequences. Speaking at a high-stakes budget defense session where the Minister of Defense presented the ministry's 2025 performance report and 2026 proposal, Lawan assured Nigerians that the Senate will not waver in its commitments to properly funding the armed forces. According to him, security spending is not a luxury. It is a necessity that cannot be pushed down the calendar. Any delay, he cautioned, risks handing criminal networks and insurgents a dangerous advantage. He described the session as a critical accountability check, revealing that lawmakers are closely examining the ministry's 2025 budget performance, especially as part of the allocation were not fully executed and have now been rolled into the 2026 proposal. Responding, the Minister of Defense reaffirmed the ministry's resolve to deliver improved results despite operational challenges. He credited the Senate Committee's backing for the progress recorded so far, noting that sustained legislative support has been key to ongoing reforms and achievements. As deliberations continue, one message rings clear. In matters of national security, timing is everything. Civic advocacy group Go Nigeria has announced an expansion of its mandate beyond voter mobilization to broader democratic reforms. The initiative says strengthening democracy in Nigeria requires more than periodic elections, but stronger institutions, protected freedoms, and improved security for citizens.
Since its inception, the Go Nigeria initiative has focused on encouraging citizen participation in elections, particularly among young Nigerians, urging voter registration, collection of permanent voter cards, and active participation in the electoral process. But in a statement released today, the group says Nigeria's democratic experience demands a broader intervention. According to the initiative, democracy must be supported by strong institutions and public trust if it's to deliver meaningful governance outcomes. The group now says its advocacy will expand to include electoral reform, protection of freedom of speech, judicial reform, and the security of life and property. Go Nigeria argues that electoral reform remains central to democratic legitimacy, noting that vote buying, intimidation, and disputed results have historically weakened public confidence in elections. On freedom of speech, the group says open civic expression enables citizens and the media to scrutinize power and strengthens political competition. The initiative also identifies judicial reform as critical, stressing that an independent and efficient judiciary is essential for resolving electoral disputes and upholding the rule of law. And on security, the group warns that insecurity, including insurgency, kidnapping, and election-related violence, limits political participation and undermines democratic legitimacy. The statement concludes that democracy risks becoming procedural rather than transformative if these foundational issues are not addressed. Go Nigeria is convened by investment banker Atedo Peterside and supported by a group of prominent advocates drawn from civil society, government, business, and the creative sector. The initiative says its next phase will focus on advocacy, public engagement, and policy conversations aimed at strengthening democratic institutions and encouraging citizens to play a more active role in defending democratic values.
The 10th prosecution witness of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC in the ongoing alleged money laundering trial of the former governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, has maintained that the cash withdrawals by the individuals mentioned in his testimony were in line with the guidelines of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The witness, a compliance officer with Access Bank PLC, said he had been working with the bank since May 2023. He confirmed that one Aminu Jimo Laranwaju, who was earlier said to have made withdrawals from the Kogi State Government House Administration account, was one of the signatories of the account. On cross-examination, he added that from the details in the account opening package, Olarinwaju was a civil servant and a director accounts in the Kogi State Government Administration. The witness said, being an Access Bank official, he was not privy to the workings of the Kogi Government House accounts and could not state what the funds that were withdrawn were meant for, except for those that were detailed in the transactions. He gave a similar testimony as one before Justice Emeka Nwite of the Federal High Court in Abuja. The banker admitted that the former governor was neither a local government chairman nor was his name linked to any of the transactions presented before the court. To aviation matters now, Arik Air has confirmed that one of its aircraft operating from Lagos to Port Harcourt diverted to Benin Airport following an in-flight incident today. A statement issued by the airline explains that the Boeing 737-700 series aircraft was on descent into Port Harcourt International Airport when the operating crew heard a loud bang from the left engine and initiated standard safety procedures. As a precautionary measure, the crew carried out a safe diversion to Benin Airport. The aircraft landed without further incident and all 80 passengers and crew members on board were safely disembarked with no injuries reported. Arik Air says arrangements have been made to transport the affected passengers to their final destination while apologizing for the disruption. Now, millions of lives may have been saved as NAFDAC dismantled a criminal ring in one of its biggest breakthroughs yet, intercepting a deadly haul of counterfeit drugs at the Lagos Trade Fair Market. Acting on high-level intelligence, enforcement officers raided a warehouse disguised as a spare parts shop, where they found 10 million doses of fake malaria drugs, banned antibiotics and toxic cosmetics worth over 3 billion naira. The agency's Director of Investigation and Enforcement, Dr. Martins Iliomade, reveals more about the seizure, including the arrest of several suspects.
This place warehouses majorly spare parts. So even while we were entering there, our men were accosted. What are you looking for? NAFDAC. Is NAFDAC regulating spare part now? And those are the kind of things we get every time. So these people have perfected a way of hiding these things in places where, unconventional places where you normally would not think this kind of thing exists there. And what we found out is something that should make everybody in this nation cry. And so this is a major breakthrough for us in NAFDAC and also for Nigerians, at least, that this thing will not be able to go into the circulation as we have said. The total value of the products that we have seized is over 3 billion. Over 3 billion street value of this product. And we evacuated 8 trailers of this medicines. 8. You can imagine the volume of assorted medicines and cosmetics from this particular place. We want to implore all Nigerians that NAFDAC will not sit and not rest on his horse until all the merchants of death who will not go and do legitimate business than to just want to kill their fellow citizens until they are brought to book. Check your medicines you buy. I want to give an example. One of the anti-malarials we saw, they have scratch cards. And we tried the scratch card. You can also try it before you leave here. It will return to you fake. Don't use. But most people do not bother to scratch.
You're watching the news at 5 on Channels Television. Still ahead in the world of business, foreign investment surges as Nigeria posts $21 billion. That and more when we come back. Stay with us. Welcome back. As Nigerians look forward to what 2026 holds in terms of climatic conditions, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, believes that timely and accurate climate information is a strategic tool for national development, food security, disaster risk education, reduction, and economic stability. Mr. Keyamo stated this during the public presentation of the 2026 seasonal climate prediction organized by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET. Our correspondent Benue reports.
2026. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has unveiled the 2026 seasonal climate prediction and the 2025 state of the climate in Nigeria, designed to support national planning, disaster risk reduction, food security, and economic development. In attendance were the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, the Director General of NIMET, heads of regulatory and technical agencies, development partners, academia, and delegates from across Africa, highlighting the growing role of climate science in development planning. The presentation seeks to provide timely, reliable, and scientifically sound climate information to support decision-making in agriculture, aviation, energy, water resources, infrastructure, and national security.
As climate variability and extreme weather events increasingly threaten lives, livelihoods, infrastructure, food security, economic growth, timely and reliable weather and climate information have become indispensable for building safer and more climate resilient communities across the country.
Heads of key climate and disaster management agencies also emphasized the importance of a seasonal climate prediction in risk reduction and emergency preparedness.
The SCP provides valuable guidance to federal, states, local governments, development partners, the private sector, and communities, enabling proactive measures to reduce climate-related risks while maximizing opportunities for sustainable development.
The SCP, with its sector-specific insights and subnational outlooks, directly supports Nigeria's commitment to anticipatory action, climate adaptation, and evidence-driven policy implementation.
In his keynote address, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Mr. Festus Keyamo, revealed that the 2026 seasonal climate prediction indicates near-normal rainfall across parts of the country, with important implications for agriculture and disaster management.
Those engaged in rain-fed agriculture and other rainfall-dependent activities in Nigeria are therefore advised to refer to the predicted onset dates in this publication to consult NIMET for proper guidance. The 2026 SCP.
With the unveiling, stakeholders are expected to utilize the seasonal climate prediction, especially at the sub-national level, as Nigeria continues to drive towards climate resilient development. Benue, Channels Television News.
Residents of Otubu in Benin City, the Edo State capital, are breathing a sigh of relief as construction work finally begins on Powerline Street, a long-neglected road that's been a major headache for commuters. The project engineer assures residents and motorists that despite the looming rainy season, work is progressing well and measures are in place to ensure timely completion. Meanwhile, residents of Odeon Street near Powerline Street are hoping to catch the government's attention next, citing similar flooding issues and neglect.
Powerline Street, a major artery in Benin City connecting Ewutubu and Siloko roads, is finally getting a long-awaited facelift. The Edo State government has approved construction, offering relief to residents and motorists who have long battled potholes, flooding, and daily commuting challenges.
It's trying now, and as he started it, please, we are pleading for him to finish it so that at the end, the community, the motorists, and the Chatako will be happy to see any development in Edo State.
The traffic now is no longer spoiled. We are managing it now, so it's okay now. We We are managing the work now. Based on the road, we are still managing. You can see the road, they are still working on the road.
A trader from a nearby street shares a video showing his hit, appealing for the work to be completed swiftly.
So when the rain started last year, he entered most houses, especially our house for those streets. That make me do that video. Without them not fast do the road now, make the rain not see enter our houses. That would they beg the governor.
The project engineer assures residents and road users that the construction will be completed on schedule, even with the rainy season approaching.
This street is a power line linking Ewotubu to Teachers House local road. It's cut across to 19th Street, that's Ugbawo, New Lagos Road. So as you can see, it's already in progress. We are looking at in another less than 2 months we should be out of this place.
Can you tell us the length of the road?
23.5 kilometers.
Meanwhile, residents of nearby Odeon Street are hopeful their area will receive similar attention, citing frequent flooding as a major concern.
I appeal to government that beg them where they go ahead for Odeon Street. Is our street, the name of the street. They go help us, this is our street. Let the rain not go carry out the whole houses.
God bless the government. Thank God they've remembered this road. Please, they should come to Ojo Street as well and try. If it's drillage underground, let them channel the erosion to that side so that people here can live well. We can't park our vehicles inside the car. If you have a car now, you have to look for somewhere else and park. You know, the area is so bad, everywhere smelling.
The ongoing work on Powerline Street has inspired hope across neighboring communities. Residents eagerly anticipate improvement, holding on to the promise that better, safer roads are finally on the horizon. Jessica Lugose, Channels Television News.
And on business news, Nigeria has seen a sharp rebound in foreign investments and trade activity. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Jumoke Oduwole, says the country attracted about $21 billion in capital importation within the first 10 months of 2025, a significant jump from $12 billion in 2024 and less than $4 billion in 2023. Speaking during the ministry's budget defense before the House Committee on Commerce, she revealed Nigeria held over 100 bilateral investment engagements with partners including the UAE, Brazil, Japan, and the US and the UK, with British investor accounting for 65% of inflows. The minister also reported a trade surplus, with total trade hitting 113 trillion naira and exports rising 11% year-on-year to a record $6.1 billion. To the energy market now, Dangote Petroleum Refinery has caught its premium motor spirit price by 25 naira per litre, bringing the ex-depot rate down from 799 naira to 774 naira. Industry analysts say this is a strategic recalibration in response to evolving market conditions in 2026. The price adjustment takes effect immediately, giving marketers and consumers a welcome relief at the pump. Meanwhile, Dangote is also signaling expansion with plans for new business investments in Burundi, underscoring its growing footprint across Africa. The U.S. labor market kicked off 2026 with a stronger than expected jobs report. Official figures show the American economy added about 130,000 jobs in January, far surpassing economists' forecasts and signaling resilience in hiring early this year. The unemployment rate edged lower to around 4.3%, even as previous data were revised down sharply, reflecting slower overall job growth last year. Markets reacted positively to the surprise gains, easing some concerns about economic stagnation and influencing expectations around future Federal Reserve interest rate moves. The report, delayed by a recent government shutdown, suggests the labor market may be stabilizing despite ongoing challenges. And that's it on the news at 5. I'm Dominic Iwiwo. Up next is The World Today. Enjoy the rest of your evening.